What is up, guys? It's your boy Rick Gakis, and today we have an update on the current Destiny 2 situation. The situation being, funny enough, that we are getting no updates from Bungie on what the heck is going on with Destiny 2. Players are not happy. What the heck is going on? Well, let's get started. Alright, so, to lay the groundwork, what the heck is going on right now? Well, in Destiny 2, not much. There is really not much to do in the game right now. The next major update, that's literally called a major update, is Shadow and Order. Now, this is supposed to refresh the game at the midway point of the season, adding like a new activity, refreshing the rewards pass and more, and this was originally announced to release on March 3rd. Now, there's a problem, and that problem is Bungie's other game, Marathon. It was recently revealed that it will launch officially on March 5th. Now, I don't gotta do a lot of math for you to realize that's pretty close together. And obviously, if both of these things are coming from Bungie, and Bungie wants its existing player base, or what's left of it, from Destiny 2 to go over and play its next game, Marathon, launching a Destiny 2 major update 2 days away from their other game doesn't make a lot of sense. I think a lot of players would expect and also potentially want Shadow and Order, or maybe Marathon, to be moved a bit further apart to let people enjoy Destiny 2 and also enjoy Marathon, at the same time without feeling conflicted having to choose one over the other. Well, that all happened, and then it was reported by the journalist Paul Tassi over at Forbes that there may indeed be a delay of Shadow and Order, that he is hearing internal information that Shadow and Order may indeed be delayed. Now, we have an update which came out yesterday, an update on this delay with, again, Paul Tassi, which, remember, is a gaming journalist who has been reporting on Destiny 2 for its entire existence, Destiny franchise, for about a decade now. This is a relatively trusted source within the community, and honestly, if Paul Tassi is saying this, this is a lot more credibility than, for example, a random Reddit account. Here is the new article that came out yesterday. Destiny 2's Shadow and Order update will be delayed until May. So, let's go over it. Of course, this article will be linked in the description down below if you guys want to check it out for yourself. Now, he says, I'm losing track of how many times I've written morale is low in regard to the Destiny 2 community lately. Real. But that was once again relevant yesterday as Bungie released a TWAB that had effectively zero substance to it as fans hoped for a roadmap for the game, or at least a note about when the roadmap is coming. This is another huge piece of the puzzle. I want to talk about this for a second. I already had a bit of a rant in my video covering that TWID simply because it was delayed for 4 hours and it was a nothing burger. Like, I heard that they delayed it because there was like some issues with the websites involving Destiny 2 being down. Who cares? Like, whoever made that call, bad call. Delaying it 4 hours actually gave players hope that there might be some substance to this TWID, but there was nothing. And now we are going on like 5 TWIDs in a row with nothing. Well, maybe that's unfair. I would say that the one revealing the Arms Week event was not nothing. Arms Week was a good bit of fun, added some cool stuff, some new weapons. I'm not going to complain about that. But not even so much as a we're working on it from Bungie has really started to get players worried. And I said this before in my previous video covering a potential delay that it doesn't help that this delay is potentially being caused by Marathon. There has been an overall, feeling within the Destiny 2 community that resources that should have gone to Destiny 2 instead went to Bungie's other project, Marathon. I mean, it just makes sense. You don't have to think too much about it. You only have a certain amount of resources at a studio. If you start making a new game, you gotta shift around some resources, right? But regardless of all of that, the fact that Marathon is getting, the marketing push treatment, and we can't even get the promised roadmap, or at least an update on when the roadmap might arrive from Bungie, is getting players very, very frustrated. Let's continue with the article. So, Paul says, previously, I reported that the coming Destiny 2 Shadow and Order major update will be delayed from its March 3rd release, in part due to Bungie's March 5th release of Marathon, which we talked about. Then, I confirmed some data mining that extended the calendar a long while after that. In fact, it would be a lengthy delay, not just a week or two. Now, that data mining was the internal calendar for Eververse. The Eververse rotation calendar was stretched all the way into end of April, May, and now the latest information is that Paul says, my latest update is that my sources tell me that it is now internally confirmed that Shadow and Order will be delayed until May. That would be at least 2 months after its original March 3rd release date, though I do not know a date in May, whether it's early or late. So if it's late May, it could be up to a 3-month delay. It may still be getting finalized, so it's not just related to Marathon. 2 months to give space to a game that's not even close to the same genre of Destiny doesn't track. Now that is a very astute point. Originally, when rumors of this delay were swirling, I even said they could move it forward by a week, right? If they've already got it done, if this quote-unquote major update is as minor as the last major update we got with Ash and Iron, they could maybe just bring it forward a week and just get out of the way of the exact same time as the Marathon launch, right? But 2 months, that is now, you are not just avoiding Marathon, you're getting out of the school entirely. You're moving districts, you're moving the country. What are we talking about here? That is now indicating that maybe this major update, Shadow and Order, will actually be getting some additional content, additional work, something more than just getting out of the way of Marathon is causing this delay. And perhaps that's why the Marathon release date was announced for March 5th. They kind of already knew they had to delay Shadow and Order, and there's nothing coming in March anymore, right? Now, continuing from there, they say the rest of this is mostly inference and math, not something I'm confirming right now, but Paul says the roadmap will be revealed sometime between now and what I believe is that it would be Tuesday, February 24th, which would have been 1 week before the March 3rd launch. Hopefully, I would love the full roadmap. Remember, this is a multi-year roadmap laying out not just the next expansion, but the expansion after that, and maybe the expansion after that, maybe the expansion after that, maybe a road to Destiny 3, maybe that's coping. Let me cope, guys. Now, Paul also says, this will be when the delay is announced. I have heard that there will be an accompanying explanation about what's going on here and why this is happening, rather than just dropping the delay and roadmap with no further information. Now, if this is hey, it's delayed, we're adding something big. Guys, I'm gonna be honest. If they say we have to delay this several months because we're bringing back Wrath of the Machine remaking, I would be I forgive you, Bungie. All is forgiven. I never should have doubted you, Bungie. I'll be thrilled about that. You know what I mean? But it needs to be something like it needs to be hey, here's what you're getting for this delay, right? And the last point here is all of this leads to a somewhat obvious conclusion that Destiny 2's next expansion after Renegades Shattered Cycle will also be delayed. Very a good point. Again, you're delaying the major update 3 months. That would mean if you didn't delay Shattered Cycle, if it still arrives in the summer, you're gonna get almost no time until the next major expansion. Maybe they're not going to delay that. Maybe that's the point, is you get people interested and exciting, because maybe they found that with Ash and Iron, there just was too big of a drop off. You finished everything there was to do in the major update, and then the next expansion came and people weren't playing. So I think there's a possibility that they want the major update to come out closer to the next expansion. Now, again, more likely Paul's correct, and the next expansion might be delayed a month or two as well. They say, I believe this entire thing is mainly about delaying that expansion rather than some idea that Shadow and Order is going to be a big problem to finish. Shadow and Order had to be delayed due to Marathon, and they're extending the gap to what Shattered Cycle probably needs. Obviously, Shadow and Order is not going to launch 2 months late, and then Shattered Cycle releases a month later. I don't know, because like the one thing I'm going to somewhat maybe interject here is that perhaps they could be using Shadow and Order similar to one of the events we've had in the past, like Into the Light. If you remember Into the Light launched leading into the next major expansion. Like, they were relatively close together, like a couple of month gap. And we also had a similar thing going on with the last one, the right of the Nine, whatever the heck it was called, right where you went into the remade dungeons. That was also, again, like leading into that next big expansion. They may have found that launching it straight dead in the middle of the season, again, caused players to fall off and lose interest when that next big expansion came out. They could be finding that they need something, the timing to be similar to Into the Light. These were called, these major updates, they said they would be on the level of Into the Light. Well, the one thing that is the difference is that they're launching in the middle of the season and not actually kind of closer to when the next major expansion is coming out. So I think that's something to consider. Overall, though, the problem is that every update that goes by, every weekly TWID that comes out where nothing is talked about, where, you know, the nothing burgers continue, players are just getting more and more upset and impatient. Again, I think Bungie, you just gotta say something. And even, again, it will be as simply as, we haven't forgotten about the roadmap. We are getting our, our ducks in a row. We are getting everything in order. We do not want this roadmap to be unfinished. We want everything to be tight. And so give us a little bit more time, but we promise it is coming, and it is coming imminently. I think even that is, you know what? Even if you're watching this video and you're thinking, I want more than that, I can promise you this. There's not a single person watching this video that would go, that statement is worse than silence. Silence, nothing. That is what we're getting right now, and that is the worst thing they can be doing. Please, Bungie, say something. Guys, that's it for the video. Hope you enjoyed and found this informative. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickKakis. That is linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.